Welcome to the series of startup interviews. Today we have a giant amongst us, a star amongst us, and he's been through 2 decades of business experience. He's so welcome to our
Thank you, Vikas.
studio,
It's a
Mr.
pleasure to be here.
Talreja.
Thank you.
And we'll ask Mr. Talreja to say in a few words how he got onto this thing and where did it begin? Did it begin in India? Was it in the States? What was the first thing that he did in his business life? And maybe he can tell us a bit about his personal background, his parents, his family, where he comes from. So tell me.
Sure, thank you. My dad had to start from scratch. I mean, he's been a man made by himself, so he's a self-made man like this, and I really follow him. He's been an idol to me. And just the way he shaped himself, I've always tried to do the same for myself. So I've always believed in one thing, that if you have to respect yourself, if you want the society to respect you, then you got to be a self-made man, right? So you got to make your own decisions. From the day when I moved on from my undergraduate to graduation, I was given an option whether I wanted to be in commerce or science. I mean, I could see the whole commerce practice was on a platter for me,
Yeah, absolutely.
but I chose to do science. Similarly, when I did science, I had an option to go into biomed or engineering. I said I want to do engineering. So those were decisions. When I asked my father, he's like, listen, you make your decisions and you stand by it.
Live by it.
Live by it. If you believe in it, you got to do that.
Yeah.
And that's where the journey started for me. So after engineering, again, just like everybody started looking for a job, that was a time when a company like Patni used to hire in hordes. When 50 people get hired, that's a big number.
Yeah.
At that
No.
point of time. So again, that's when I decided not to really jump on the bandwagon. I said, let me take some experience, work with smaller companies in India. Let me see how that experience worked for me. Because by that time I never was under any financial current that I have to do a job and then
Earn for the
earn for the
family.
family. I still had my time. I knew I had like another 5 years to get married.
Yeah.
So why not play around? So I decided to work with smaller companies initially. So a couple of years I worked with a startup working in dairy. Then Aptech was starting a consulting and again that was a startup for them. So I joined them. I got the opportunity to work with some of the leaders like Ganesh Natarajan and Aruna Jayanti and the likes. Moving on, Accenture came to India to start a technology center, and again I was part of the initial team that set up that offshore delivery center in India. We were just about 20-30 of us in 2001, and when I left them a couple of years back, they almost touched 100,000 people.
Wow.
1 lakh people. So it was a great ride. I mean, I spent like the best 12 years of my career in Accenture, and I really give credit to how I've shaped myself to a lot of the leadership quality that I learned from people in Accenture. But every 2-3 years, I was always, thinking of doing something on my own. And they say that there's always a point where you got to make that decision. And when you're in a job, there is something called as a landing point, right? Okay. So one of my alumni, Abbas, we've been in touch for a very long time, and said they were in this e-commerce solution business, and he said, what? Why don't you come over? Let's start a journey together. And that's how Adaptee happened. Adaptee is primarily into doing e-commerce solutions. We work with a lot of US brands, with major retailers. We implement their e-commerce solutions. We partner with companies like Oracle, implement their solution for these clients. We do specialize in doing omni-channel solutions. So basically stitching the whole multi-channel sales cycles to the back end and creating a single customer experience for these brands. So we work with a lot of US companies over the last few years. We've been doing pretty well. In the last 18 months, we've doubled our team size. We're now close to 100 people. In fact, we've crossed 100 now. And we now have 2 offices in Bombay, one in New York, in New Jersey, Now we are soon opening up another office in Singapore. So the ride has been good. We're doing pretty well.
Are you funded company or you've been on your own
We've been
steam?
bootstrapped for all the time, yeah. But hopefully this year and next year, we will definitely look at raising fund. Because, like you say, like, traditionally, it's not about just growth. It's also about investing in the right area. Making sure if we raise money, if we are picking money from an investor, we put it in the right place. And that actually helps us grow. So the investment that we'll pick will be for growth.
But should you not spin off your product arm and get that funded rather than the back-end business that you're doing?
Right now we've got 3 products, like I said. So
Yeah.
one is Die Card, the other is Die Registry, which is very closely integrated to what we do in the services side also. It's basically a registry solution. So for example, in US, which is where this culture is more predominant, right? So if you have a baby shower or you have a wedding, you can actually create a gift registry and publish it to your family and friends, and people can actually go choose and go what you want to buy.
Yeah.
Right? So that's not the culture yet in Asia.
India.
And I wouldn't say
Not
just
in
India,
India.
it's
Yeah.
how
Asia-wide.
in Asia. So it's very closely integrated with what we're doing on the services side also, but that's a product. So it's very difficult to now take away the two and say, oh, you know what, so let's get this funded and not
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Okay.
Right now what is happening is our services revenue is actually funding the product,
Exactly.
right? Which is why the
Exactly.
growth has been like so significant.
Mm.
So we want to make sure that both businesses get adequate attention, they get adequate money power into it, and then they grow together.
To get to 100 people in such a short time, normally I normally feel that companies should measure themselves,
Yes.
pace them out.
Yes.
To me, this looks like a very high growth trajectory, but you're managing it well, so good for you.
Yeah, I mean, we are definitely making sure our costs are low. Like I told you, we have 2 offices in Powai, and the third one that we opened was in Thane, which is a low cost solution. So you got to manage your real estate costs very
Carefully,
effectively. So we're making sure that we don't overburn ourselves to that extent. But it's also the nature of this industry, right? So e-commerce industry is now at a point where we say it's at an inflection point, right? So
Yeah.
with the whole business pressure also coming in, there's also pressure for us to deliver,
Yes.
right? And if you see, when you're in a tech company, you've got to have at least 6 months to 1 year given to any person to actually be more productive, right? So we hire a lot of freshers actually.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of our success story. We hire a lot of freshers. We make a pyramid bottom heavy, and we give them like 6 months and 1 year of training,
Start producing.
so that they can be productive in that time.
So Vijay, since IBG, as you know, is focusing on the startup ecosystem, and we'd like your views on what we do, what the ecosystem is all about, the investors, the entrepreneurs. I have, over the last 7-8 months, gathered a lot of thoughts, seen a lot of experience, seen a lot of companies come and go,
Okay.
seen the bigger ones also now failing. The entire funding has now
Dried up.
almost dried up, almost, I would say not dried up, but it slowed down. Those valuations are gone that used to be. People have to be more real, more practical. The graduates who are coming out yet feel that we just have to announce and here is $1 million. It's no longer that, we all know it. So since you are yourself an angel investor, what do you think of this environment now as it's developed? I mean, you probably invested when the going was very fast and high.
Mm-hmm.
So has it worked out, your investments? Are you having any second thoughts?
Well, quite honestly, no second thoughts.
And how many have you done?
I've so far done 3 investments,
Mhm.
so I've not done too many. But that's also why the reason I've not really jumped up to some of these opportunities that have been thrown to me is also because I measured them with my own criteria too, right?
Yeah.
So the whole angel investment, we all know, right? There are very few who actually make money out of it. But there are 2 angles to it, right? So one is how you make sure that you got the right startup to invest, and 2 is what's the right time to actually come out of it, right? To make money out of it. So I feel at today where we are, and specifically in India, I think this is the best time for any person to start business in India. I mean, like we were discussing earlier, right? I mean, today India is probably one of the most open economies in the world. And for people to start a business in an economy, being in India, I think you've got a much better hand up. So it's an exciting place. I think the startup ecosystem is just got started in my view. I think if I compare it with what I've seen in Silicon Valley, maybe we have many years to catch up, but I think we're now riding that wave. So
Because in the beginning, 10 years back, we were just the back end to the Silicon Valley
yes,
front end.
absolutely.
That's all that happened. And then there was a period when money was put into India-US companies
Right.
or US companies with an India base.
Right.
They were getting funded for 2 years.
That's right.
Only the tech background of India and the low cost. But that's also shifted away.
Yes,
And-
and definitely, I
yeah.
think it's the credit also goes to a lot of venture capitalists and investors that have started, or rather have put in the money where their mouth is. They keep talking about the great ecosystem that we have, the entrepreneurs India is producing today, and the ideas and products that are coming out of it. So, we're very happy to see that the money is being put in the right place there, and that is fueling the growth. And that's actually giving a big upstart to the ecosystem in India.
So do you think that it's really happening across the board, or is it more talk and more newspaper and
Yeah,
media
so-
pushing it? Because the sense I get,
Right.
also to an extent, is that there is much more talk than on the ground reality.
Well, the way I would put it is, what we read about it is only the 1% of it.
Mhm.
And that 1% is what you read is the success
Yeah,
stories.
the one person you read about is the one who have got millions of
Who
dollars.
got millions of
funded. That's when
dollars
the
who are
newspapers come in.
claiming that now they're successful. Well, once you raise fund, you're not successful, right? You've actually taken
Yeah.
somebody on board. You've taken somebody else's money on board. That is when your journey starts.
But most of the startups are struggling, I know at first hand. Not only struggling to raise money, just struggling in the business model itself.
Every startup has to evolve. They have to figure out how the business and the market is moving, and then they have to write. They have to actually figure out how they can be leaders in their market. So they have to catch some of those waves, catch some of those ideas, invent, and put that money and then evolve that. We've done that also. So in Adapti, when we started out, we were just a services company. We figured out there is a huge gap in certain market, there is certain product offering that we're doing now. Clearly that's something that we are trying to evolve ourselves from. Just from a pure services company, we are now a product and service company. And hopefully in next couple of years, even our revenues are tilted towards more product and services.
So what would you advise
Sure.
an entrepreneur who's trying to get into a startup mode? And do you really think it's right that it's only the graduates who are being seen as startups?
Not necessarily. I mean, I think it's all about a person having conviction into what he can build and sell. If you have that conviction, and it's very simple terms, right? If you know something that you're building is really great and you know how to sell it, I think you've made it. So you don't need to be a graduate. I mean, we've seen so many farmers who now converged into big businesses, rural segments, rural corporate societies they have become big giants today. I mean,
Those
just
who are entrepreneur minded, you needed a bank loan to do a business because you don't
Exactly.
have it.
Exactly.
Bank loans, it was a chicken and egg situation. A banker would ask for your house to be given to
Mortgage.
them, mortgage, and who has it? Anybody who has enough to mortgage doesn't need the bank.
Right.
So,
So
because of that,
interestingly-
and it is this, because of that, and because of the change in the business environment, that we're now seeing so much business activity.
Exactly. So interestingly, what has happened is there are less and less of startups who are actually going and asking for debts. Right? So there's more equity funds that are available now. And hence, when we say the startup ecosystem is not about having mentors, accelerators, incubators who are supporting it, but there's also funds available for these ideas.
That's a key element of
That's a
any
key element,
business. Yeah.
And that's exactly why I would say anybody who's a graduate or a non-graduate, but having a solid idea or a product that he can build and is able to sell, I think this is the best time to be here.
So at what age did you move out of your cushy job or job and
It's
to
never cushy.
go into the sharks?
You should ask the
shark
Accenture guy,
infested,
it was never
the
a
shark
cushy job.
infested areas. That's why I corrected. I said job. Okay, so you had a job for many years,
Yes.
and you were growing in that job.
Yes.
You were not frustrated. You were climbing the ladder. So what made you move out, and what age did you do that?
Well, that was at the age of 40.
40. There you are.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
like I said, right, I've never been in a hurry to get on and start on my own. Because for me, like I said, I've always believed that whatever I did was for a purpose. And if I have been happy with what I was doing, that's most important to me. And I like
The
it.
government has a great role to play, and they are actually also doing it. Like the Modi government has declared a 10,000 crore fund for startups. They are changing policies for startups. They're changing the tax situations, especially for startups. Do you think that they are going in the right direction? Do you think they need to do more? What is your view on the government as far as the business startup environment is concerned?
Okay, so I think they made a great start. I think just by making that announcement of 10,000 crores that's available to startup, I think that's a great start in my view. However, whether that is moving in the right direction, I think we've read about it that there have been certain concerns around it. You know, there are 250 startups that get listed and only one gets funded.
Mm.
Doesn't make sense.
Mm.
Right. So there is clearly some work that needs to be done on that. While it's a slow and gradual process, but I'm actually more bullish on this government because honestly speaking, we've never seen some of these things happening in the previous.
Yeah, it's
10
new,
years.
it's completely new.
It's completely new. The energy is very different. The passion of Prime Minister Modi is completely taking over everybody. So I think they made a great start. It's hopefully going the right direction. We've heard recently that he's cracking up the whole engine behind this 10,000 crore startup. There are organizations like SIDBI who's got a huge share of it. So they are now channelizing that to venture funds and a lot of these incubation centers. So it's very exciting, and hopefully, I think the day this actually makes a big difference is all these incubation centers or accelerators and venture funds, they come together, and it's very easy for them to access that funds. The day
Is
that
it
becomes-
really?
it should. I think
Yeah,
it
is.
should, and there should be clear criteria and guidelines for that.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be that any Tom, Dick, and Harry comes and start up and
Yeah.
some VC said, oh, he's a great guy, he gets funded. I don't think that's the case. That should be the case. Right? I'm sure the VCs are also very cautious in the way they pick their startup, but it should not be that people come and start playing around with this. But it should not be as difficult as it is today to even access that fund. So there is work that needs to be done, both from setting up or making sure the guidelines are implemented properly, and there are people who are actually making sure that goes to.
Is that fund coming to them by way of loan, or are they just a channel? Who is finally responsible
Yeah.
for that money?
So I don't think it's going to the angels, but yes, it's going to the venture capitalists. The way I believe this is being funded is, like any other person who is investing in a venture capital fund, right? For example, if I was running a VC and you would put money in my VC, in my fund,
So that would
I
be by
generally-
way of equity.
right, it's by way of equity or by, and I also promise certain level of funds to you. I mean,
Yeah.
certain level of returns to you.
Yeah.
Similarly, I think the government is also pushing that fund into venture capital and saying, go ahead, deploy this. While we know you make X percentage, we are willing to partner with you and make money out of it. But here is the fund that you can now go wider and deeper into the startup ecosystem to deploy. So today, if you have 500 crores, now you have 1,000 crores with 500 coming from there. So that's the whole idea. I'm sure.
During the budget, the last budget, have left more questions than answers.
Okay.
Like they announced that 3 years no tax, but then for 3 years they don't make profit. It's only after 5 years that a venture really starts making profit. which can be taxed. So there are bits and pieces still in the policy.
Yes.
That jigsaw puzzle, which are still a puzzle.
And not just
So
that.
what would you recommend to the government if they asked you, what is your take on the policy and how it should be implemented for startups?
Well, that's a very big question. Like I said, I mean, in my mind, there are definitely two things that needs to happen for this whole policies or the guidelines that are being put together for funds. A, that the accessibility for startups should be relatively easier. One of the things that has been called out in this budget is also that if you once you're qualified as a startup and it is vetted out by an incubation center, then you qualify for the tax benefit. Now, you may be part of an incubation
Yeah.
center or not. You
Yeah.
not necessarily go to an incubation center for it, right? Now, there is a pro and con to that, right? So there is pro is that yes, if you can have more of these incubation center coming up and qualifying you as a startup, great. But if there are not many, then there are many startups who are actually losing out. So somewhere these guidelines have to be streamlined. They have to be more aligned to the larger set of startups that are in the country. And the second thing that I believe that has to happen is not just the incubation center, the VCs and the accelerator that have to come together, but it's also the education institution that have to come together.
Considering you're on the board of the educational institutions,
Yeah.
like the Vivekananda Education Society, do you think educational institutions need to have a special curriculum, a special course for startups and startup founders, particularly those who are just out of college with simply no experience of the real world of business?
Is that there has to be a very serious thrust about teaching entrepreneurship to graduates. Now, entrepreneurship doesn't necessarily need you to start it on your own. Entrepreneurship is a quality that you need to have as an individual, even if you're working in a company. The concept of entrepreneurship is now catching up big time in the corporates.
Yes, it is.
I mean-
Internal funding and
Exactly. Now,
Yeah.
look at what SAP is doing. Look at
Yeah.
what all these IBM and
Yeah.
Oracle is doing. I mean,
top
they are
Indian companies are
incubators.
also doing it.
They are incubators inside the companies now.
Yes.
Right? So it's very interesting. And what you need as an individual, not besides your tech skills and your idea, is how you actually sell this. So you need a lot of entrepreneurship qualities for you to actually develop that, and then eventually spin it off into a startup. So one of the things that I actually tell all these graduates that I meet is, guys, I think this is something that you will learn the hard way if you start up without having that skill. But why don't you actually learn that even while you're in your college? So one thing that the institutions have to very seriously do is to invest. Maybe it's the last 6 months of your
Yeah.
tenure in college,
Yeah.
where you are actually given a coaching on how you start up and what an entrepreneurship should be doing, how you balance your cost versus price, how you make sure you run a company successfully. So those things, I think, is something that there's a big role for the institutions to play.
in fact, IBG has been asked by 3 or 4 institutions to set up an IBG curriculum within those institutions at the business level, in the business colleges. I won't name them yet till the first one is done.
Okay.
But I really think that the education system needs to be
Absolutely.
adapting to the current reality of business. There is no point in doing just book learning. The moment you pass out of college, those books are forgotten. All that learning is forgotten.
Yeah.
You suddenly enter into a new world where that's of no use to you.
And you know what? The biggest asset in education institution that they have, it is for any institution for that matter, is their alumni. Any institution that you pick up will have some alumni who have been successful in business, who have been very successful entrepreneurs.
Bring them together.
Get them together.
Yeah.
I mean, your alumni will
Yeah.
always come back.
Yeah. In fact, they should
I mean,
become
if you are-
mentors for those.
Is the whole point, and that is what we're doing at Viveka. We
Mhm.
actually, through the e-cell, we bring the alumni back. We run sessions for them. We We make sure there are workshops that the alumni conduct for the students. Because it's an experiential learning that you do. It's not bookish like this. It's all about teaching.
It's
love
all
from
about the
your own
real world,
experience.
because the moment you're out of college, you're in the real world.
You're in your
Till
real
then,
world.
you're in a cocoon. And and then the silkworm becomes a butterfly, you're flying. So do you know, you need to be taught how to fly also, while you're a cocoon. So that's where the education system needs to reinvent itself
Absolutely. And
for the present India.
And I strongly believe that while when you make these courses and curriculums and you have people come and teach you, with all due respect, you can have teachers come and teach you, but you need people with experience. You need to have entrepreneurs coming and teaching these courses. It's all about it. Entrepreneurship is all about experiential learning. It's not about reading from a book and saying, hey, you know what, now you're going to ask, I'll ask you 10 questions, you're going to answer them. It's not about that.
Because it's all
The future will be defined by the present and not by the past.
absolutely correct.
So
In
the
fact,
present has to
yeah.
play a big role in how the future gets shaped.
In fact, IBG is now working on an 8-weekend course with one of the institutions, where it will be a weekend course because the startup is meant for startups,
Okay.
not for the people who are already still in the college.
Mhm.
They can also come in, but this will be people who have already launched a startup.
Okay?
And so out of the 8 weekends, or every weekend, one day will be the book learning,
Mhm.
the other day will be the real world people coming and talking to you.
Right.
They can be anything. They can be an HR guy, it can be the income tax, it can be some statutory person, because those are things which are real.
Yes.
You got to
And
face
you-
them.
You better know them.
Better
from the
know them
start.
in advance before you get that notice.
Absolutely.
And then it's too late.
Yes.
So then you'll be only struggling doing those things rather than run your business.
Yes, absolutely. And I think those things, like I said, right, you can learn the hard way, but it is always better that you learn it before you jump into the.
Yeah.
Vivekananda's got an engineering institution called VESIC.
Hmm.
So I head the alumni association there.
Mhm.
It's it's been like from 85, so they have about 8,000 alumni across countries. So it's a big alumni association. So I'm the president of the alumni association. So I played different roles, and one of them is making sure.
So this is the Chennai-based.
This Mumbai-based. It's a very large institution
Yeah.
in Chembur.
Yeah.
It's
okay.
got right from school
Hmm.
to
Full
junior
system.
college, to arts, science,
Mm.
commerce, to pharmacy, to engineering, to management college, and they have about 32,000 students every year.
That's a lot.
And the best part is that I did my education right from kindergarten to engineering.
did
there.
that?
Yes.
Wow.
So one of the things that I wanted to do is go give back to the institution, where I spent like half of my life, and that's what I'm trying to do right now in a very small way.
That's being born and brought up in Mumbai, it's a shame to see that the other cities are running so far ahead of Mumbai.
Yes.
Okay, there are historical reasons. Bangalore took the lead because in those days it was only tech companies which were being funded.
Mhm.
Where the funding was coming from the valley, primarily. And then it moved to Hyderabad for similar reasons.
Mhm.
Now, other states like Gurgaon has taken third place. Imagine.
Like they are at NCR is now in the first place.
Inside in the first place, this is news to me.
Yes, NCR, Bangalore,
Well-
and Mumbai. That's how it rates. It was just new news like 2 days back.
But in the startup ecosystem, I find that Mumbai seems to have fallen really behind.
I think one of the big reasons was also the perception. I would say perception
Hmm.
around the real estate.
Yeah,
prices.
that is
So-
what I hear. That
But now,
it's
if
too
you
high
look at
cost.
the cost between Mumbai, Bangalore, and Delhi,
Not all that great a
I
difference.
don't think there's a
Yeah.
big difference. So even in Mumbai, like I said, you have low cost places like you go to Thane or you go to Airoli, New Bombay. I mean, you get huge spaces at a much economical price. You don't have to be
in the
you
heart
don't
of
have to be
Mumbai, in South Mumbai.
Powai or
Yeah,
Nariman Point,
yeah.
really, So I think it's a perception that needs to change. And clearly, right from the time where the government has been supporting creating more SEZ zones, now there's a time that they need to look at these startup zones.
Absolutely, and this is something even I have been pushing here. That like look at London. Outside of London, they created Tech City,
Yes.
which is where you can get space at half the cost.
Same as Singapore.
Maybe
Same in
Singapore also,
Singapore, yes.
yeah, at half the cost. Why can't Bombay do the same thing? Why can't we allocate certain lands which are going waste in the government's books
Right.
into such new areas of development?
In fact, I would actually recommend very strongly to the government is that, you know, some of these SEZs which have gone defunct and which are not even ready to
Yeah.
start, I mean, just put money and get them into a startup zone.
So who is going to push Resurgent Mumbai as a startup destination? Is it the government? Is it the investors? Is it the entrepreneurs? Is it the chambers of commerce? Or does it need all of us to come together
I think it's all of
on
us.
a common platform and push
it's
this
all of
idea?
us. And clearly, what is very important in this is all of them have to come together. You know, if the government is setting up the policies and guidelines and they're putting money, the chambers has to come in and facilitate that, make sure the guidelines are implemented for the startups, for the investors. The startups have to take that opportunity to go and tap into this and make sure they work with the chambers to use the fund. And the investors or the venture capitalists have to then actually support this whole ecosystem and make it happen. So I think they have to come together, and clearly I think a group like IBG can play a big role there in getting everyone together, making sure there are forums where these things get discussed. You have participation for everybody. You have people who are discussing on an open ground, an open table, saying, okay, here is what should be done to make this happen. So I'm
So I
very
think-
happy that you're doing this, Vikas, and I wish you luck for it. It's a very exciting time to be in India. I would encourage not just the graduates who are coming out of colleges, but also people who've been in their jobs, working for large corporates, to come out, explore the world in the startup ecosystem, come up with ideas. I'm sure many of them have ideas. I keep meeting a lot of my alumni and my friends from Accenture and others discussing ventures that they want to do it. I feel, and I strongly feel that this is the right time for you to be doing this. So give entrepreneurship a shot. I'm sure it will give you a shot in the arm for you. So yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much
you for coming
having
into the studio.
Same here. Thank
And
you
wish
so
you all
much.
the best with your
Thank you
ventures.
so much for it.
Thank you.
And I hope to be associated with IPG.
Yes, please, would love it.